What was the biggest jump you made?
The best jump I made?
The biggest.
Oh, the biggest?
Like it might not have been the most monumental shift in your life, but the one that felt the hardest to do, that really got you moving when you made it.
I don't know. I guess that with like my career, like getting into tattoos, like that was a pretty big deal for me because like, you know, it was such a different path. And also like, you know, like I kind of said earlier, it wasn't really a popular thing at the time. So it wasn't like I had anyone else to look for as like inspiration, you know. It was a lot more underground at that time. You know, not like way back in like the 60s and that, but like it was still like not a normal thing to be a tattoo artist. So, you know, there was definitely a lot of doubt there whether I should do it or not. And then like, you know, just certain people, like, you know, I wouldn't say anyone in particular, but like people in my family were just like a bit like weirded out by it. Like, what? Like, it's a strange thing to pursue, you know?
Do you know what to call them out?
No, but yeah, just...
what did we say earlier? Your greatest haters turn into your biggest fans.
Yeah. Oh,
give it long enough.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, even like, you know, like I said earlier, I didn't have a close relationship with my mum when I was younger, but now I do. And like, even then, like she was a bit like, you know, a bit like, whoa, that's a bit weird. Like, do you know what I mean? And like, when I started coming back with more and more tattoos, she's like, oh, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? She was a bit like, you know, mums are like that, you know, but, you know, she was a bit like freaked out at first, I think. She's like, what's going on with my son, you know? But, you know, now I'm pretty sure, I wouldn't speak for her, but I'm pretty sure, you know, she's probably like pretty proud of what I've done, you know, like, and, you know, she's seen that I've took something I was like passionate about and made it into a career. Obviously not so much right now because obviously I've just moved country, so like tattooing is like a little bit of a backseat in my life at the minute, but yeah, it's I think, like I say, that was a big jump for me, just finding that like more of a like purpose, like I'm doing something that I'm actually like I'm really interested in, and it's like creative and fit in, like I felt like I fit in, you know, because it was like, you know, all the guys that like I worked with in the tattoo shop, they was all a bit like, you know, a bit different, and like it's just like, yeah, I don't know, it just felt like, oh yeah, this is it, you know, like it felt right.
Do you like being around the feeling of misfits fitting in?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Like I don't know them, but what you're describing, I'm thinking right, there's lots of misfits that are going, yeah, we fit together.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting, like when, you know, I mean, obviously I'm like smothered in tattoos, but like as far as like some people go, they like, you know, look even more wild, like, and you know, express themselves even more crazy. Like I remember there was some guys that would like come hang out at the shop, and they would just like absolutely covered in piercings, you know, like just crazy ones, like massive stretches in their nose and like all sorts of mad stuff, you know. But I found it fascinating. I was like, that's awesome that you've like took that upon yourself to go, I want to look like this. I'm gonna do this stuff.
But they represent the same thing that you've experienced, whereas they're not being constrained and pigeonholed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can admire, like, even that might not be a look that you would go for or something you would do. You can admire that they've took that same step.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Just I think it's like I respect it. You know, when you see someone that's like, you know, gone, no, I'm going to do what I want to do. It's like, yeah, you sort of like tip your cap to them. You know, good for you. You know, like,
do you find it easy to be proud of yourself?
Not particularly. I wouldn't say. No, I don't know. Like sometimes, but then like other times, like I don't know. I think you do find it quite hard to like notice that I've actually done something worth being proud of, maybe. I don't know. Or like if someone else like pays me a compliment, sometimes I feel a bit like awkward, you know what I mean? I'm just a bit like, oh, like I don't know, I don't feel right, you know, like I don't feel like I deserve that compliment, you know, like but yeah, other times maybe, like, you know, if it's something a bit more profound or something that I'm like, oh yeah, no, I have done good with that, you know, then I do feel proud of what I've done. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, so the way that you mentioned the answer earlier when you said there's a few times in my life that, you know, I could have been doing with help. You mentioned when you were a kid. So let on that there was maybe a few other times. What other ones maybe stand out?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like much of that same sort of thing, like those periods, like when I was like making a jump into a new career and I didn't know whether it was the right thing to do, and like, you know, I didn't feel like I had, even though I did ultimately make the right choice, like I didn't have someone to to sort of back me and be like, yeah, like you should be doing this, you know.
What would back you feel? What would that look like?
I don't know, man. Like, I just sometimes the way I look at it is I think of it like if I was on the other side, like, you know, say like it was my son, what would I say to my son, you know? And I would, you know, I'd sit him down and I'd be like, look, you know, if this is what you're interested in, then go for it. Like grab it, like I said, grab it by the horns and just go for it. Put your effort into it and you're going to succeed, you know? Like it's, I don't know, sometimes you need that, you know? Like even if, like I say, I managed to come out of it the right direction and it worked out, but some people don't. Some people like make that jump and then second guess themselves and go, oh no, what have I done? And then, you know, and then they like maybe go back to what they was doing before, you know, whether it's changed career and then it's not panning out how they thought. So then they go running back, you know. I think having someone to have that confidence behind you and go, no, you're doing the right thing, like stick to it, you know, like I think that helps a lot, you know.